This is Irontrader, and this is the last call of the day here. So we're going to take a look here at Bitcoin, at crude oil, and natural gas, and we'll take a look at the indexes, the Dow, the S&P, and the Nasdaq. Then we'll take a look here at Apple stock, which is moving up nicely today. At the end of the video, the support and resistance levels are posted for crude and natural gas. This video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy, sell, stock or ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, here we have Bitcoin, your daily and your weekly chart. Now you can see here how we put this topping tail in here. We made a nice higher high. We got as high as today as 106,270. So when we were down here, I says, if we look at the left shoulder here, your head and your right shoulder, I says, as this goes up here, we'll take the neckline to the bottom here, and we're going to come up here with about 206 level, and that's pretty much where we went right now, okay? So a little bit above it, 206, 270, okay? So now we came down, we put this big-ass red candle. So what we're looking for, we just follow the candles all the way on down, and that's our support level, just like it was on the way up, okay? So you will look at today's low, that's 101,555. Then we'll come over here to the top of this candle right here. You're looking at 100,765, and then we'll come in here to the top of this candle. Okay, you're looking at 99,765. Just bring these price channels here right across, and then what we're going to do is going to be looking here at this key 8 SMA here at 98,765. If that's lost, we want to come to this candle because this was your breakout candle. That is at 98,615. So we're sitting pretty much right about there, okay? Now, again, if that's lost, we'll come to the bottom of this candle right here. You're looking at 97,350. We'll come down to the bottom here. You're looking at 95,070. We'll come to the bottom here. We're looking at 93,945. And then we'll come to the bottom of this candle here. You're looking at 93,685. And then we'll start looking at this 21-day right here at 93,394, which crossed not only the 50-day, but crossed this 100-day nicely, okay? So this is really no big deal kind of situation. I sold some of my IBID there today. It got as high as 59.48. I had to stop at 59 flat, and I'm out of that partial shares of that my trading end of it, okay? But I still hold a long term. So I have two trades. I have a long term, and then I have a trading shares, okay? So right now what we're looking for, even if this goes sideways a little bit, let this 8-day catch up. Just like when we were down here, we had the sideways action and that 8-day caught up. Now we're looking very nice because what we do is as this is rising up here, so is this 21-day, so is that 50-day. So again, and that'll become very good support here. If we start losing that 8-day, we come right down to that 21-day. Now, we got to an oversold condition here. So, okay, so that's really the first situation. Not saying it can't stay oversold, but we got that oversold. Now, it came down here. It could rally right back up here very easily here. But again, it doesn't hurt to take some money and put it in your pocket, okay? So, your green over your red looking still very, very nice here, okay? So, on the upside here, now what we want to do is just do the reverse of what we did, okay? So what we'll do is we're looking here to Friday's low. So you're looking at 102,785. We'll come up top of this candle. You're looking at 103,300. Then we'll come right here to the top of that candle right there. You're looking at that 104,825. And then we'll come over here today's high. You're looking at that 106,270 level, okay? So very, very nice, okay? And that's pretty much right in this area here. See this, how this resistance is? Now, again, when you have a, well, this obviously this is a commodity or a stock here, but you're talking about $100,000 stock. It's not going to be dead nuts, okay? So, you know, this is what your resistance level is, and this is pretty much where we went. I said down here, we're looking to that 106 area, and that's pretty much where we went, that 106 area, okay? So now, if you can get above that, we have this 110 breakout. You crack above that. If you draw a trend line, you're looking at 115 to 120 level. Very, very nicely. But we got a red candle here today, so let's just see how it shakes out. Plus, this is an engulfing candle and engulf for all of Friday's candle, okay? So be a little bit cautious when we're up here. Now, here we have the old weekly chart. Now you can see here we're holding this nice good support here of this 21-day. Your 8-day is curling up here. It looks like it wants to curl over that 21-day, and that'd be very, very bullish here, okay? But again, we just went right here, right into all this resistance level, okay? So this is what we're looking for. And that's pretty much where she all went, okay? So let's just see if we can get a little sideways action, see what happens tomorrow. And then what we're going to do is when the futures open tonight at 6 p.m., we want to watch today's candle, okay? You want to watch that high, 106,270. You want to watch that low at 101,470, okay? So that's what we're going to be trading against. We start losing it, we have the 8-day right down here, okay? Very, very nicely. All right, so trade this. This is a trader now. We've had a really, really good run. Look at the run that we had off of this double bottom situation here. Okay, from 74,655 all the way here up to 106,270. Okay, that is one hell of a run. So put money in your pocket. Don't be afraid of it. Okay, take a look here at the old crude ski and natty gas. Okay, here we have the crude oil. Here we have natural gas. Now, this was a really, really good trade here. Okay, we made a high so far of 63.61. It never made it up to that 50-day. We put a topping tail in here. So now we want to do at 6 o'clock, we want to trade against this to see how if this is going to be a true topping tail or is it going to go higher kind of a situation. Okay, so when we see this crude oil, we see this old topping tail here, okay? So then when the futures open tonight, I said just watch the high and the low of this. That's what we're going to be trading against, okay? So if we lose that, you can see how nicely it came down to that 21 SMA here and holding it nicely. But again, if that is lost here, then we're going to come right down to that 59.34. Okay, but again, this was, I didn't make it up to the high here, but I sold out 3/4 position on that UCO, and it worked out really, really nice here today. Okay, so I was very happy with that. So now let's just see here if we can get ourselves a little sideways action, maybe a trading range between the 21 SMA here, okay, and that 50 SMA. Now remember, when those futures open, this 50-day is going to be coming on down, so that's going to be lower. Your 100 days lower and your 200 days lower. So when you look at this chart here and you say, okay, 64.40, but by the time this comes down here, it won't be 64.40 here going forward. And eventually this is going to come down. Your 21-day and your 8-day is going to roll up, and then something's going to give. It's going to blast higher, or she's going to blast lower here. But really good trading here in the old Krudski. Now, you got a 50 there, so you're about right in the middle. It could go either way, but you got a nice green cross here, shows momentum to the upside. That's looking very, very good. Now, natty gas here. Okay, I was thinking about going long here today, and then it turned out to be a really nice short with the KOLD. Okay, now KOLD hit a low of 21.01 and hit a high of 21.63. Okay, now I got 30 cents, but I'm trading 5,000 shares on that KOLD, so it actually worked out really nice. But what I was watching is we made a little bit higher high, but what I was watching was yesterday's or Friday's high, I should say, that 3.81. Basically, because we have this resistance right here at that 3.82 level. Okay, so we're sitting right there at resistance. Now, it never materialized that, and once we started losing that 50-day, I just jumped on it, and I'm all out of the trade, so I have no position right now here in the natural gas here. But remember, this is a two-way trade. UNG for the long, KOLD for the short is how I trade it. There's a lot of ways to trade it, but I just find that that's the easiest, okay? So now where we're watching this 8-day on the downside, that's at 306 level. If that's lost, we're going to come to the bottom here, 352, then we have 3.48, we have 3.42, and then we're looking for this 21-day here at 3.36. Now, the upside, we have to retake and close back above that 100-day, 3.72, and that 50-day at 3.748, okay? But then again, now we're going to be running right here. Today we made that high, 3.84, but realistically, this is going to be your resistance level is right here, okay? Because off of the top of this candle, if you break above that, then your next level is going to be that 3.93, and then we just work yourself up here, and your big target is going to be that 4.25 level, okay? But right now here, this was a good trade, but we're holding this 8-day, as you can see, okay? So very, very nice here. We held this on a closing basis. Held it, and holding this on a closing basis. So now we have this sideways trade situation. So we got to see how this all shakes out. RSI coming off here a little bit, but that's really no big deal. You're still green over your red, so not looking too bad. But for me, natural gas is a trader. This year, I don't mind holding crude a little bit long, but I sold 3/4 position here today. So I'm going to see how this all shakes up, and I'm going to be watching today's candle, and then I'm going to be watching that 21, that 8-day on the downside, and then we'll see what that 50-day does. Okay, let's take a look here at the old indexes. Okay, the indexes were off to a races because they signed that deal with a little bit of a postponement now on the old tariffs there with China. They're going to work out a deal. Eventually, they're going to work out a deal with everybody. As I say, you're going to get a rip your face off rally. Dow's up 1,100, Nasdaq is up 737, and the S&P is up 172 level. Okay, so what we've been watching here is I was watching this gap fill, which is now we're filled with the old gap here now, okay? But now we created another gap. So we want to watch the bottom of that candle. Keep it on your back burner, 41,898.99, and then the top of here at 41,773, your gap and your fill. So always watch that. But really the key is what we've been looking for is this 200 SMA here, 42,248. We're sitting right there right now. We'll see how we close on the market, and then 42,343. Now again, just because we close above here, that one day does not make a market. See, just like here, we closed above, went a little bit higher, and then look at that, how they just fell right off the cliff then again here. So, okay, so just remember, pay attention to that 100-day and that 200-day. That is going to be key. Now, RSI got room to run. A MACD, room to run, looking very, very good. Now, S&P, you can see how this gapped up. I don't like the gaps. To me, I like a market that sells off, okay? Like we had that big sell-off down there. Boom, that was my buying opportunity, okay? But now when this market's rally up high, you got to, it's not easy to do. You say, oh, it's going to go higher. You have to try to sell some of that into, sell your positions into it, okay? But now we left this big gap here. So we look at the bottom. You're looking at 57.86, there's your gap. And then we look to the top of this candle right here, 56.91, there's your fill. But we have this 100-day, so we got to maintain this 100-day, 57.73 level. And then that 57.50, your 200-day is going to be the key, okay? So that's going to be very, very nice. Now, if we can rally up above that, then what we're going to do is we're looking at that today's high, looking at that 58.41 level. The next level, we just bring this price channel right across. This is what we're looking for next. Is going to be 58.60, okay? So that's what we're going to be looking for. And then we'll come to the bottom of this candle here. You're looking at, what are we looking at? 59.08. And we'll come down to the bottom here. You're looking at 59.32. And then we can just start looking at the top of this candle, which you're looking at that 59.86 level, okay? So there's plenty of room to run. I just don't like that gap and that fill. So watch that 100-day, that 200-day, and then that gap and that fill. The same way here with the old Dow, okay? So we had that nice high there today at that 42.408 here. Now, again, if we can go above that, then we'll be bringing this candle. This is your next target is going to be is 42.821, okay? So just bring the price channels right across, and those are going to be your upside targets, which is really nice. That's why I like the price channels, because as this sells off, it leaves the other side, which now that becomes all your resistance and your upside targets. Okay, the old NASDAQ here, looking very, very nice here. You can see everything was just rallying up here. Okay, we had another gap here, okay? So always watch them gaps, okay? So you had 18,472, there's your gap. And then we looked at the top of this candle, 18,068, there's your fill, okay? But watch this 100-day. This is going to be crucial, 18,477, and then 18,312, that is your 200-day. So we have the same situation as we have here on the S&P. The Dow is a little bit more cleaner. We have just a smaller gap underneath, but we're sitting right at that 200-day and that 100-day. So let's just see how this shakes out. Now, say we get above this and it keeps right on rolling here, which it possibly can, 18,701 here. Well, then what we'll do is we're going to be bringing this price channel right here. And first of all, we'll take a look at the top of this candle at that 18,861. But then the price channel is going to be right here on top of there at 18,992 level, okay? So all we do is just bring these price channels right across, and that's your upside targets here. But these gaps, I don't really care for that. I just wish I would just ease into that, you know what I'm saying? Even this is a lot better, but we'll see how it all shakes out. But your RSI here, looking very good. All MACDs are looking very good here. So give it a day, and let's see what happens maybe on Turnaround Tuesday. Okay, let's take a look here at Apple stock. Okay, here we have Apple stock here. It looks like we have ourselves a hangman, okay? So now, when you look at this chart here, you see how we have a high, okay? We have a lower high, lower high, lower high. In this 21-day, everything was shaking it out. Now, you can see here, now we're breaking that downtrend, okay? Let me just take her down a little bit, easier to see. Okay, so now we're breaking this downtrend, okay? We really have to get above and close above this 50-day, which is 210.41, and above this price channel right here, that 214.56. That's going to be your next upside targets, okay? That's what we're looking for. And then if we can get above that, we want to look to the bottom of this candle. This is the gap fill, okay? Looking at 221.02, and then we can come up here to the 100-day, 225.31, and then we have your 200-day sitting right there at 226 level, okay? But again, always look to them gaps and them fills. Them are always going to be very, very like magnet to a fridge is where that price is going to go. Now, we really have to hold this 50-day on a closing basis. If not, we'll look to today's low here, okay, which is basically 206.75. There's your gap, and then we'll look to the top of this candle here at 254. But we have this 8-day, which is looking pretty good, and the 21-day. So you sit right around that 202 level. That's going to be very, very good support. But always watch the gap in the fills. But this 50-day is going to be key. But you can see as the downtrend is still intact, but if we can get back above this price channel, we can reverse this pattern and take this bad boy up here, at least to that 100-day, up to that 200 SMA here. Now, we look at the RSI, we're looking very, very good. MACD's curling up here very good. So we got to see how this is. I just don't like it when a stock gaps up like that, because then you know it's going to eventually fill just like here. See how it gapped down? Eventually, it filled, kind of filling it, and not totally yet, but eventually it will fill. So you got to be a little bit patient with this. But this is all tariff bound. He's going to cut China just a little bit slack here for 90 days, and then we'll see where it stands. Okay, That's what I got for you. Now I'll be back here tomorrow morning here, and we will do it all over again. And remember, turnaround Tuesday. We have a big rally up today, so watch those futures tonight, see if they hold, and see if maybe we get a reversal tomorrow. We don't know. All right, thanks for watching.